Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Executive with Meg, the Gulf Leaders Circle podcast that brings you exclusive conversations with the most influential C-level executives of the GCC. I'm your host, Meg, and today I'm extremely honored to introduce my guest, engineer Said Al Shanfari from OCEC. Welcome.
Nice, Meg. Thank you so much for having me here.
It is such an honor. Thank you for taking the time. So since 2018, he has been at the helm of Oman Convention and Exhibition Centre. Of course, everyone knows it as the premium venue for business events. So it's such an honor.
Thank you.
So I'd like to start right off the bat. Let's dive into your personal journey. What was the role and the road that led you to becoming the CEO of OCEC?
It wasn't straightforward road, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I was, all my life I was focusing in different areas. I'm more of a technical marketeer. I've worked in telecom for 17 years before I joined OCEC. I think an OCEC came in my radar the time when they start building OCEC and this time when they start promoting that the country is actually building a new center. And I thought it was a great idea. As a marketeer, I always thought Oman has so much to offer.
Of course.
And never shared enough about Oman outside. As I studied in the US for my bachelor degree. I did 2 degrees in computer management information system and also international business. So as an ambassador for my country, I traveled the world. I've been in Holland, I lived in US, I lived in Egypt. So have been in many different places. And I think as a Omani, we always like to talk about Oman when we are outside of Oman because not so many people also know about Oman. When they start building the center, I thought, wow, this is a great opportunity. This is actually could be an anchor project that brings people from all over the world. And we can promote Oman, show Oman of the culture, heritage, beauty of the country. And this could also bring the international visitors, investors, people who want to do more with the country in terms of economy and impact in economy. But then, because I knew I have a long shot coming from a telecom side, so it was just in my radar, but I really didn't know how to get into it. Until one day I got a phone call from an agent. He was like, hey, listen, we're looking for a CEO to manage the center. I was like, you better be kidding me, yeah? I was like, this has been in my radar. It's like kind of been the law of attraction, I guess, yeah? So it was always in my mind. Funny to say, I've told some of my friends, I told them one of my ideal jobs, if I ever get a job, and it's an ideal, like part of my dream, is to be in a place where I can promote the country and showcase it as an individual. And I will be able to travel the world to tell people more about Oman.
What more can you want from a job?
And I was still in telecom. I swear to God, I was still in telecom. And some of my friends remember the stories. And I was in telecom and I kept talking about it for many years. Until I got this call and I was like, okay, this could be a reality come true. Yeah. My first interview with the agents was very good. It was very interesting. They liked where I'm coming from. They liked the way how I'm thinking, the strategy of what I'm planning to do. But I didn't know much about MICE industry at all. Really, I really know just the building that hosts like book fair maybe, or maybe some small events. But I had no idea what does MICE means. And I didn't know what's meeting, incentive, exhibition, conferences.
Yeah.
How do you create a business out of this? How can you actually create an ecosystem around it? What's the value chain of bringing all these elements together? And the interview went well. After a couple of weeks, they called me and they said, listen, we did not shortlist you because the board are looking for someone from the industry.
And of course, you were still in telecom.
So I said, I was still in telecom at that time. And I said, well, it's fine. I mean, I knew this is going to be a long shot anyway. So I wish you guys all the best. Let me know if you need anything. So 3 weeks later on, they called me back again. And I started the new assignment that time. And I wouldn't want to say the assignment now, but I started a new assignment back then. And I had to tell the people who hired me for that assignment, listen, I'm going for another interview.
Yeah, just be transparent about it.
So it was a bit of like a situation for me. And then I went to the interview. I actually searched more about what is MICE is all about. What does it mean to have an organizing companies, they call them PCOs or DMCs, domestic marketing company. Or what does it mean to have an ecosystem? What does the government need to do to attract conferences? How do you bring conferences to the country? How do you actually run an exhibition business? And what does it do for economy? So I researched a lot before my interviews. Yes, I had 4 days to research all of that. Came into the interview, And I came up with a formula, and there are actually formula used in different countries, but obviously in Oman didn't have it. Is the multiplier effect of economy in terms of mice.
Okay.
And coming from telecom side, I deal with numbers. I deal with a campaign, product, designs, customer experience. What does it mean to manage big traffic and big mass? And then also changing the ideology of people. Like what do you need to do in your what do you need to have in your telecom product? Well, when we designed product related to mobile before data plans was there. And why do people want to do data plans?
Of course.
I came from the generation where SMS was the king. Voice was the master of the kings. And then suddenly data is the king now.
Yeah.
So I came from that concept that always there's something can change the consumer behaviors. So I was lucky the interview went very well. The board were very excited about seeing what I have to offer. And I got a call in the same day to meet the senior people. And within a week, I got an offer to manage the place. But obviously, OCEC was not the same picture as you see it today. Obviously, OCEC was a combined effort of multiple different things that need to be redesigned, I would say, to what it's formed like now. And the journey in the first 5 years was not easy. Let's say the first 2 years was a lot of reforming and redesigning. And basically it's actually taking multiple different entities, and then also a country who does not also have an idea about what mice impact can bring into the picture. So there was a lot of learning and a lot of growing and a lot of pulling back and forth between different parties. But with the support of the government, especially when it comes to Ministry of Tourism, who also have the Convention Bureau, we were able to start putting together different elements. And then Umran as a group who also were part of Umran, the support I got from the people there also to put this together, the board who believed in changing and reshaping this sector was also all in place. So 5 years was an interesting journey. I'd be more than happy to answer a lot of questions related to that. Yeah. Some of them are good learning for me, for someone who came completely out of the sector. But I think we managed to do something very different with the sector today.
No, of course. And it's very clear to see how you were recognized in 2019 to be one of the most influential CEOs in the Sultanate of Oman. Yeah. It's a remarkable achievement. How do you say that recognition has or what did it mean to you, and how has it impacted your career ultimately?
I play my role, and I think it's important to say also the government has spent and invested a lot on us. And they have put us in a track where we not just mature as an individuals, but mature as a leaders and mature as people who we can see the importance for us to add value to what we do. And I was also part of the National CEO program, which is started it in a couple of years ago, and I was selected among 100 people who the government focused on and to develop for the next generation CEOs in the country. And when I got this offer, to be very specific, between what I used to do at telecom and then going to the mice sector, I had to let go some of the benefit that I used to have on the other side. And telecom is a very lucrative, good pay sector. Mice industry is good and interesting, and it has a lot to grow, but also doesn't really give you the financial similar to what you have in telecom. But my belief and my challenge was I wanted to generate something that can stay for generation afterwards.
Of course.
And as part of what we learned is just how can you leave a legacy in the place? What are the legacy would you leave in this place after you go away? And I want to point back when later on in the future when I go back and say that's where we started the mice industry.
Yeah,
and everyone else who's in this journey today who's like kind of struggling, looking around for solutions. And we look back and say, we were the first who put those elements together. And now we see the fruits coming back to the country. And that was important for me. And that was from the get-go. So the government has invested a lot on us. We have to give. Mice industry was very green industry, very green in terms of we have not yet understand the impact of a mice industry in the country. We have seen examples of countries who took this industry and moved to the next level. And not to limit, but Singapore, Dubai, and other places who are way advanced than us in these areas, and it has played an impact in their countries. So why not? Oman has actually more than they can offer. We have a logistic positioning in the world that are connected east to the west, to Africa, to the Asian continent, to the European. We are in the middle and the heart of everywhere. We're a country that are peaceful, in good relationship with so many others. You have a long coastline that can connect many different logistic hubs in the country. We speak multiple languages in this place. We have multiple different cuisines. with beautiful nation, beautiful people, and beautiful landscaping.
Exactly.
That varies between beautiful white beaches to green mountains to waterfalls to beautiful
You name it, you
golden
have it.
deserts, everything. And as I always say, if there was a list of destinations, and then we have to see if Oman actually meet that list, we probably will hit every single tab in that list.
I totally agree with you.
And you will find anything, and it's much more welcoming than any other place. Not to say the other places they're not offering the same. Each one have its own beauty,
Unique. It's
but
so
Oman
unique,
has
yeah.
its uniqueness as well. So we have a product, and I believe strongly in that product. And I'm going to speak about Oman, and you see it. I'm very passionate about it, and I like to
amazing.
showcase that to the other people.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I must tell you, like I mentioned previously to you, for me, it's very unfortunate that very few people actually are aware of Oman. Like I said, my friends constantly ask me, how am I doing in Dubai? And I'm just, oh my goodness, you don't understand. Oman has a lot more to offer. But you mentioned the National CEO Program. This is not something that I'm familiar with.
Okay.
Can you just give me a brief overview of what the program entails?
One of the initial projects, it's from the Royal Court. They focused in developing the next generation CEOs.
Okay.
And they announced a program, say 6 years ago, that they're looking to put together a program for a national CEO program. They will select 100 people. They will put them in a 6-month program where they will take some theoretical courses or workshops.
With regards to the program, how do the government, are they solely responsible for selecting the individuals?
Yes.
Or how?
So they opened the application for everyone, all the public to apply for.
Okay.
So it was open public. 3,000 people applied. They went through an intensive selection process. There was a lot of psychometric assessment, mathematical assessment, English assessment. And some of the assessment also test your capability to answer them in a shorter seconds.
Okay.
And then they do one-to-one interview with an expert, and then the final one they do a kind of like someone from the academy, someone from the government, someone from the university. They're all sitting in the panel. They ask a couple of questions also.
That must be really intimidating.
Very.
How long was this process for them? Of course, since start to finish, of filtering through all of the applicants.
It took around 5 months.
5 months.
Yeah, I think, and also the process was very precise. That they actually every step require that you pay attention to. So they say application ends in this date. You need to submit by this date. So there was a time when we had to actually write an essay. And then the essay had to be submitted. So they will send it to you today. You have 48 hours to write the essay.
Okay.
You can't have more than that. So the process takes between 4 to 5 months, and every step they check with you. So they send you an email. They're saying you have 48 hours to respond. You have this survey. You have 48 hours to do it. You have this psychometric assessment. You have this much time to do it. And then so it was always very engaging. And at the same time, you have to really put your full attention to it.
Of course.
I was traveling in Kazakhstan during my essay. And I had a full plan with a group of people. And I remember I was actually in a bus tour, going to the mountains to look at certain sites. I was in the bus writing my essay.
Ping goes your phone.
And but I so much wanted to do this. It was like an ultimate goal for me to get through.
Yeah.
And I was writing my essays, checking on the essay, submitted the essay when I came back to the hotel. And then I passed that stage of the essay. But in my final interview, I had a very difficult day. I won't say a lot of details on this, but I have a family matter that happened right before my interview, in 3 hours before the interview. And I had to go to emergency room during that hours. And then I had to really clean my thoughts before I go to the interview. I remember sitting in the room, sitting in my car. It was at Al Bustan Palace, and going through that drama that has happened to me in the last 3 hours. And then had to get off that stage, just remove it from your head. Just focus on what you have to do.
Yeah, the mental
This is the
shift
final
completely.
interview. 4 different people are sitting there. You need to impress them. You need to make sure that you got them to a point they believe that you are the deserve to get this scholarship or part of the program. And the interview went very well until the last question. And they said, how committed are you to the program? And I said, if I tell you I was at the emergency room just an hour ago, and this has happened to me, would you feel that I'm committed? And they said, are you serious? And it was a big deal. It was a really huge story. And actually, I've covered it in another podcast before. But anyway, so it was quite a big deal. And they said, but then don't you need to go back to the emergency to check on those people? And I said, they're fine now, but my focus is getting this through.
Here with you guys.
As I wanted to make sure I get every opportunity to make it happen. And then they kind of were very impressed with what happened. It wasn't even intentional. If he didn't ask me that question, I wouldn't even mention what just happened to me. But that's how much committed I was to the program. And then later on, it was a beautiful journey to meet. We are the 100 people who was part of this program, plus other programs the government created, part of the national agenda to create leadership of the next generation. We're all part of the Oman Business Forum, which is another forum that we connect and we talk to each other. It's a very strong network. A lot of us are in very important positions now, and they also leading their sectors in a very interesting way.
So, on top of everything...
So the school called IMD.
Okay, IMD. Okay, yes, of course.
Oh my God.
It's been a long day, right?
It's because of fasting, my memory is
It's been a long day.
Yes, of course.
But on top of everything, you are also an active member of the International Coaching Federation.
Yes.
So you're a man that wears several different hats. Can you please just share with our viewers and our listeners more about this federation and your passion with regards to this?
So I did say I'm not a multitasking, but I think I'm a multi-hat
Yes,
person.
most definitely. Yeah. I think that should be the quote of the podcast.
I can wear more hats,
yes,
but not to do two things at the same time. I need to focus on one.
Yeah.
So I have developed an interest back in 2013. I actually went to another kind of leadership program that focused more of the inner personality of yourself, like the inner side of you. At that time, I really didn't understand what does it mean, but actually my company promoted me to go to this program. It is an intensive 10 days program that you stay in the hotel and you meet with another 30 people from the regional Middle East.
Okay.
And then we go through this program where they talk about yourself, the past, the current, the future, and focus about how you can enable yourself to think beyond just your one task that you just want to grow up to become a millionaire,
Yeah.
But it's like, how can you contribute to the overall society? How can you create a personal purpose that focus in serving others to create a bigger thing? And obviously, it's not easy to understand that when you're focusing in many different areas, but it's enable you to break your shell one by one. And you reflect onto that. And I did it in 2013, and I was more interested to know who I am, how does it work with what I'm trying to do. I'm passionate about multiple things. What is my real strength that I can take out to the society? So the journey started in 2013, and then part of what I get to know is what else can I do to grow. And then the company offered me a coaching session. The first time, this was not so normal in Oman. Coaching actually started in the last 10 years. Okay. It was only focused on people who can afford it back then. But later on, coaching methodology changed, and then it can be more generic, and there's more methodologies and schools that can offer it now. So 2015, when I started discussing this with some people, no one knew about it. Only the coach who I've had, she came from Canada, and she has been doing coaching for many years in Canada, and then she started doing it here in Oman. And I said, I really want to contribute to society, and I see this very strong tool in front of me that I could do as well. So I've asked her about the program. There was a program in Dubai, and I took myself to Dubai, booked a flight, took some days off, went to Dubai. I keep telling my friends I'm doing coaching, and they say, football coaching, volleyball coaching.
That was the first thing that I thought.
What are you going to do with coaching? And no one really knew and understood what does this mean. I think in Oman we had only one or two people who were actually on the pipeline to become a certified coach back then. So I said, no, it's more of a journey for myself. And I remember sitting in a room in my first day of the program, and everybody comes from an HR background, and people coming from different side but focusing more on human beings. I was the only one who coming from, at that time I was still working in telecom, focusing more on marketing. And I said, I work in telecom. I'm a GM of marketing and product design. And they were like,
what are you doing here?
What are you doing here? And I was like, this journey is for me. I started this journey to discover who I am through the reflection of seeing others. And it started back then, and now I'm a certified life coach for the last 6 years. I have clients who are more of individuals, but I also have companies as a client. I didn't stop at the coaching part as just I'm a certified ICF, which is International Coaching Federation coaching. I have also specialized myself in Lego serious play. So I play Lego with my clients. One is an individual. I have also invented my own way to turn that to a coaching session.
Yeah.
But I also do it for a group of people, a group of senior people, group of multiple companies, based on the design that I put together. And I look at areas where their strength and weakness can work together and design a model that they all work together on it, that they discover the hidden potentials for them as a team as well.
Of course.
But I also went into coaching systems, which is more of what connect us all together, what connect me and you, what connect people who travel together, what connect people at their own house. And then looking at how can you take some of the toxics that comes into this relationship and turn them to an opportunities that they could take forward. So I kind of went on and read a lot about this stuff, and I discovered a lot of things about myself. I think a lot of them I used also on my own during OCEC journey. And because of the challenges as an organization had to play together. So I tried a lot of these tools. I worked them with my teams and created the space for creativity and innovation for them, so we can all discover what is the hidden potential. And I think now, after 5 years, I see a lot of these tools are kicking. The result of them are taking place. So it was more towards me discovering who I am, but it helped to do the purpose that I told you about. What is it in for me that I can use to serve others more? And it becomes more of my lifestyle now. How can I use that? And thank God, and I'm so grateful and then thankful to the people who trusted me throughout that journey. But I feel like I've done something that it could grow more. And I think it can impact even more people as we go.
Of course, most definitely. And of course, I want to dig into your very impressive academic background. You have an MBA from the University of Hull, and then, like you mentioned, a double bachelor's.
Yes.
So how do you feel your academic roots have ultimately influenced your approach to leadership and business in the region?
In my own definitions, I feel academics gives you the idea there's multiple buffets are available for you.
Yeah.
But what do you like to eat at the end is up to your choices. But you need to know they're available. And so having that opportunity that studies in the US, doing the double degree, doing the MBA, it just gives me that perspective that's more into academic that I could tap into anytime I want to. So I know they exist. I know how to search for them. I know what the details there. I've studied some of these tools, some of the methodologies. And I think coming from a technical side, it helps to have that algorithm, critical thinking, logical perspective of things has helped me as a person to look at things in a different perspective. So they do help a lot, but I think being more specialized, more practical, once you know exactly what meal you like to have, is focusing and zooming in that area. It's very important. So then you become specialized in seafood, specializing in salads, or specializing. Coming from hospitality, it's easy to speak about all of that stuff, but it's important. And I think it's later on. I promised myself a long time ago when I was in university. I remember in my final year at college, I was sitting in a programming class, and I was sitting and looking at this professor who have done a lot of thing in his life. He had made companies, he had created companies, sold companies, and he wouldn't tell us back then. But I think he's a millionaire. But I asked him one time, why you teach people? And he's like, his mission in life was, I want to take everything I've learned from my life and then put it in a frame, put it in a perspective, and give it to people. And I felt that was very noble out of him. I feel like that's really noble, taking yourself out of your comfort zone, dealing with the university students who's maybe not taking things seriously.
It must be a literal nightmare.
Exactly. And then you're still giving away a lot of time and effort for all of us. And then he said stuff related to being specialization in areas, specialization in practical certification, something that's more focused. And I promised myself, once I finish my degrees and once I get myself to like a place where I'm able to fund myself, that's where I start focusing more on ICF and then coaching. then this is for me. Because I said, any courses I'm going to take now, it's going to be for me, for my own knowledge, for my own benefits. So I can use them also later on if I could for my practical and then professional career life.
Of course.
So that's how the journey. So mixing both things helped a lot. I think having also only a university degree or an MBA or even a doctor degree, it's not enough if you want to get to the competency and skill set and then knowledge base. Because those skills will give you the fast decision-making process. The rest gives you the buffet. You know where everything is, but how to grab it is up to you. So the other part gives you how to grab it.
I agree with you. It's just turning the policy into practice.
Exactly.
Okay, so I would like to switch over to the more specific questions about OCEC. I'm sure our listeners cannot wait to hear some more.
Sure.
So what are the key factors that established OCEC as the premium venue for business international events in the region?
I think a lot of stuff related to the destinations we talked about, but OCEC as a design, as a building, I think government realized there's a lot of important for us to have one fixed place that is modern, represent the country's vision, speaks business, have an element of our heritage, culture, all in one place. And I think they put a lot of these factors in the design when they built the OCEC. Obviously, OCEC's decision to build such a center now came from a historical effort and work from the older center, which was not far away in the Airport Heights, and that for many years succeed to bring MICE industry to the picture once or another. But when they built the design now, it was Oman means business. That's what it means. Oman means
statement.
Let's show you what we can do. And not because I work there, not because I'm someone who's passionate about it, but it's truly one of the most beautiful, integrated, modern center in the world. And I have been in a lot of centers around the world. They could see, maybe they think I'm more of I think so much of OCEC and I don't really give their centers enough attention or enough credit. They might have the largest, they might have the biggest, they might have humongous, but there is nothing that competes the beauty and the elegancy of OCEC.
I agree.
The greens around it, the marble flooring, the lighting. OCEC was not just designed and built just to attract big and small and multi-size events, but also was designed in a way that also preserve environment as well. OCEC is a gold certified LEED building, which means any lights and every air and anything around it is actually preserved within the building. And we took that and our own responsibility as a leadership of the center. How can we grow that in multiple different layers? And we will come to talk about it in terms of sustainability.
Of course.
But the building of the center, so one is the building of the center and the government intention to create such a destination. But the second part of that is Oman deserves to focus more in the area of attracting more businesses. And then we've been talking about attracting foreign investments, and this is part of the country's vision of 2040. And having a center like this is enable those investors to come together in one platform and meeting with their co-partners in the Omani side. So I think creating a center that can bring these two elements together, its proximity from the airport also add more value to the center.
It is prime location.
5 minutes and you are actually the moment you leave the airport, if you look to the right side, immediately you see the center. That's how close the center. It's placed in one of the modern cities in the Oman, which is Medinat Al Arfan, and it's at the top of the sea level, so to also give it that uniqueness, that stand. If you are in Muscat, you will see where it's located. It's next to two major highways, Muscat Express and then Sultan Qaboos Highway. So getting to that center, moving away from it, logistically you are in the right place, and it's also many different factors. Having also the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism working with us in the past many years from their office of Oman Convention Bureau have helped us also to put plans together to attract international events. So there's a lot of elements that makes the center important. There's stakeholders who believe on the center, futuristic plans of the government, our vision of 2040 that focusing in diversity of revenue, including my side, and also attracting foreign investments, and also the beauty of Oman overall. I mean, when we go and pitch for a conference outside or a convention, We tell them, listen, you will attract people to come to your convention. That's your priority. But creating a new destination for you to put in the plan, you're coming to Oman, attract more participants to come. Oman is one of those destinations that probably it's in your top of 5 list, but every time you end up going to the same boring places.
That's very true.
But if you have Oman in your list, you will go to Oman. And once you come to Oman, you'll be surprised of what you see. And you will ask yourself, why you never made that choice, the first choice? So MICE can do that for you. And when the conference is here or the work is here or the workshop is here, you have no other choice except coming.
No, I agree with you. And Oman is definitely a country that grows on you. I've been here for almost 2 years now. And my family, my mother specifically, has come to visit me 6 times. So highly recommend. If you've never been to Oman, please come. You'll love it. And then also a topic that I really would like to discuss with you, and it's something that I'm very excited about, is the Solar Rooftop project with Total Energies.
Yeah.
Can you please just give us a bit of an overview of this project?
So if I mentioned that we're a gold lead certified, and so we're really taking that seriously in our matter and in our strategy. One of our pillars is actually to preserve the environment around us, and we take it seriously. And in the past many years, we have actually, in the past 5 years, we've been doing a lot of different green initiatives. Some was a bee farming. We have actually a bee farm. We have honey that produce only at OCEC, bees.
Really?
Yes.
How many hives do you have there?
We have at least 20 or 30 of cells there.
That's incredible.
Yes, and we actually make those honeys and we give it away to our premium clients every year in a package.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and we have lime trees, we have date trees around us. So sometimes we bring those elements from the greeneries around us, and we actually present it to our clients when they come around.
That's amazing.
So that's one part. The number of greens you have, the number of trees. Every year we actually plant more than 50 different trees in different places. We focus in fruits because not only gives you the shadow and the green places, but also it's a feed for animals or people who are using the area around us. We have actually came up with a food preserve initiative where any food that's still not used or not being utilized properly, still preserved in its own protected areas, we actually give it to NGOs and then also associations. They give it away to people who needs it. In the past 1 year, we have actually made 7 tons of different foods being given away for different people.
Wow.
Throughout all the events that we had throughout the year. Even the food that's actually is a waste food that we cannot use, we put it back to fertilization, and then we have actually processing for that. Us and the hotel around us, we combine together, put the food together, and then actually use it for fertilization of this OCEC that you see around us.
That's incredible.
So we came up with a lot of initiative, and one of the major initiatives we thought we were thinking about in the past 2 years is how can we save more in energy. Solar has been a subject that we've seen growing in the many different places, and we've actually put a tender out almost a year and a half ago. Total Energy was one of the companies who applied for the tender. And they have a similar vision that we have. They want to enter to the Omani market. They want to preserve energy. They have more advanced technology that we can see today. So together we worked on a project where we are now in the implementation stage of it. So we signed the contract as everybody saw, but we're actually already in the implementation stage.
That's incredible.
This project should produce over 4.7 megawatt of electricity, enough to light a village, actually. So the project is supposed to be finished in the next few months, and then we'll have a better coverage on this project. But it's probably one of the biggest projects in terms of a solar project in a rooftop of a building in Oman. Probably in the region, we still have not collected the right evidence, but in Oman, it's the biggest rooftop project for solar.
That is incredible. So you said it will be fully implemented
in the next few months.
In the next few months.
Yes.
Okay.
So when you fly over OCEC in the future, you'll be able to see yourself in the mirror from the plane.
It's like the Las Vegas dome that they put up. I don't know if you've seen that.
the sphere.
The sphere.
I actually went to the sphere.
Oh, you
Amazing
saw it?
venue.
Okay. Yeah,
it is an LED outside, inside.
Yeah, because I know they have the emoji up. So when you fly past, it like makes a face at you, apparently.
If you walk from a distance to the sphere, you feel like it's actually you're seeing the moon coming outside.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing.
Okay. So, yes, back to OCEC. Sorry for the sidetrack.
I love beautiful venues. What can I do?
So how do you feel this solar project aligns with OCEC's broader vision for sustainability and, of course, the government's net zero emission target by 2050?
So when the government announced the 2050 zero carbon initiative, we were very excited because we were already thinking about what can we do to make sure, as a big building like this, what can we do for the environment? So it kind of like matched immediately with what we're doing. And our initiative now started becoming in the right places. So as a center, not only we try to come up with our initiative, but we welcome also big events that comes to the OCEC. We have the Sustainability Weeks that comes to OCEC, and actually the next Sustainability Week organized by a company called Connect. They've been done an amazing job in the last few years growing this profile. It starts at the end of April and then the beginning of May dates. One of the biggest events, it takes over 22 to 20,000 square meter of an exhibition spaces. We see major contracts get signed here with the local partners, with the international service providers to cover multiple different areas. We see contribution from many different sectors, not just in the one who believe in green initiative, but surprisingly, we see how the oil and gas companies kicking in as well. They're trying to come up with an initiative that also preserve environment, though they work in the oil and gas side. So all of this is actually combined together, happens in one roof, under one roof at OCEC.
Of course.
We have the other big event that happens at the last quarter of the year. It's called Green Hydrogen. And green hydrogen is the future fuel for cars, for factories, for multiple use in the future. There's a lot of studies that now it's actually taking place that this will actually replace the future fueling. And actually there's cars now today already available that use green hydrogen as actually fueling. And Oman is actually targeting to become one of the main producer of green hydrogen. So this initiative or this event that happens at OCEC give more focus in how can we produce green hydrogen and how Oman will become a focus on that. And we see companies coming from all over the world to participate, to attend and also share their expertise in these areas and also signing a lot of deals. So those are some of the major initiative happens in terms of sustainability. We're glad to see the government is going in the full gear direction towards sustainability. There's no single event that happens around the world now they don't talk about sustainability.
True. It's
no
a very
single
hot
event.
topic,
And I've attended multiple different events around the world. Sustainability is one of the core subjects. And I'm so gladly saying that in Oman, we are actually having a few steps ahead of a lot of people in the region.
I agree.
And I think it worked so good for us in the past that we're not moving so fast, but at the same time, we're moving slowly but steadily.
Yes.
And then let's give that attention now to still create initiative related to sustainability, and we still can come up with a great result for them.
And also, how do you feel that this project particularly would ultimately inspire other businesses in the region to also take that step towards sustainability?
Just because of what we signed in the solar project and then the other initiative that happens at the OCEC, I receive a lot of phone calls and actually text messages from friends in this industry. And they're like, wow, I mean, how did you guys manage to do this in the last 4 years? There were people talking about the food reserve initiative in one of the conferences that I attended a few months ago. And there was from a very pioneer businesses and very pioneer venues. And they were talking about the food initiative. And I was sitting next to him, I was thinking, we've done that 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And then someone stood up and talked about solar project. And I was like,
we're done
we're
with that.
implementing it already.
Yeah.
And so it kind of like feels like we are on the right stage. We like to be pioneer rather than followers. And we like to lead the market if we have to. And I think it's good to take this experience later on and spread it around. And we're very much interested to help others. If who wants to know how did we do it? What did we do? How the project have helped not just us, but the environment around us. And I think it adds to what Oman is all about. It's how can we lead and how we appreciate environment that we live in and then how we preserve it. And I think what makes Oman so unique in terms of a country, not just the people who's so amazing and great and everything, but also how we manage to create such a preserved place for everyone. And you see nature and life is just to like complete each other when you go anywhere in Oman.
Yeah, it's definitely very much integrated.
Yeah, definitely.
And with regards to the operational changes, what benefits would you foresee for OCEC with this project?
So operationally now if we save more in the energy side, obviously that helps us commercially as well. So we save more electricity. That means saving more prices for us. At least we have a fixed price for the electricity going forward. In decision that we have to make related to operation, we have to evaluate, can we create any model or initiative that can also protect the environment? So I will take you through a simple exhibition that happens at the OCEC. One, the food elements we spoke about. We spoke about the energy part. We spoke about all of this. But when it comes to stand building, people come into exhibition and build stands out of wood, out of steel, out of glass, whatever materials they use. Behind the scene, when all of this finish, we give them two choices. Either you take your stand with you, or we put it in our recycling plan. So with the recycling plan, we separate the wood from the metal, from the glass, and we put it back to the market, and then others will buy it and reuse it again.
Okay.
We take every decision, whatever happens in the center, we try to make any decision that related to the environment and saving environment. We've actually completed a study that have 3 stages. One is the energy that we use. Second is our behaviors as a center. Third is the behaviors of people who coming from outside of the center. So we completed 2 stages of understanding where are we from the zero carbon initiative across all our function. And we discovered that we're not too far away from meeting a record feeling of how much energy we're saving as a venue. However, there's still some areas we need to work on, especially when it comes to the energy and the sources of energy. And then now we start looking at the behaviors of the people. How do they come to the center? So they're using their cars. What do they do when they come to the center? What sort of food they like to actually eat? What sort of elements? And where is this food coming also from? Is it coming from farmers in Oman? Is it coming from farmers outside of Oman? What are actually the culture or the environment it's coming from? So when you taking about the 3rd stage now, you're talking about the ecosystem that's outside of the center. Some of it we can control. Some of it we cannot control. The one that we can control, always we can recommend people to change their behaviors. Don't come in your own individual car. Come in carpooling, or come in a bus. Come on in a group of people. We try to also educate people around it. That will take us more time as we start to learn more about the behaviors of people. But it does impact the way how we do operation. It becomes part of our mindset when we speak to our clients. How can we change this conversation to make it more environment-saving discussion rather than just consume and leave? So we try to look at all that factors. Sorry, I keep pushing the mics.
I also have the same problem.
Yeah, it's very close.
Okay, so we've done the total energy solar project. What other sustainability initiatives do you have down the pipeline that you would like to share? What can we expect for the future?
We have we're exploring different things, but some of them maybe as I told you, the 3rd stage of what the study that we're making is also studying the behaviors of people coming from outside. So, and then basically that will help us to see what else internally we could do to change a little bit of their behaviors, product they're using or something else. But if we manage to efficiently work this project for the electricity, and then the policy of selling back to the grid also changes or something else changes, we're planning to even expand the solar project in a different levels. But now we wanted just to see how can we move on with what we have. There's a lot of great initiative we have. We're also now looking into the plastic part. Actually now we're still using plastic bottles, sadly. That's not something that we're proud of. But we're looking at a convenient way to do it. Also because people are not used to have water coming from dispenser or from one place. And then which means they have to either bring their own bottles, or we have to create paper cups or something else. So the logistic of that still is a behavior that we're trying to control. But we're experimenting. Some of the conferences we had, we had no plastic bottles at all, focusing only in water dispensers. And then we will give people bottles at the beginning where they can use throughout the event.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and we love those challenges. We personally, I love to see challenges that comes from how can we deal with the environment and how can we come up. We actually have a small team called the Green Team that they meet on a monthly basis, discussing different initiatives. Some of them small, some of them big. But it's just interesting to allow the staff to be part of that as well, the decision making.
And how do you feel that this collaborative effort and project ultimately reflects the global trends with regards to renewable energy?
So we are part of the UFI, which is actually an international association in relationship with exhibitions. And as a member of that association, we also signed as a part of their treaty to deal with environment and zero carbon. So we are part of the bigger umbrellas. A part of being part of the international association, also they share with you a lot of documentation related to environment, sustainability, different initiative happens in different countries. And then it's a movement. And we share our stories as well. So when it comes to the solar project, we also post it at the UFI and see if anyone else is interested to do it. So there's a combined effort to educate each one, and then we take the experience from the other people. But it's important that we all focus in sustainability and focusing in environment, because we as humans, we use so much of everything around us. We're a guest of our planet, and we need to take care of it. We need to take care of things that happens around us. At least every individual should have his own plan to how to preserve the environment around us. So I think internationally, we like to be recognized as a part of this big element of sustainability and saving energy, for sure.
So with regards to the UFI,
Okay.
do you mind just sharing like a bit more information with the listeners? Because I think I'm not aware of it. So
UFI is an international association. It have multiple numbers of members from all over the globe. I am personally the chairman for Middle East and Africa. I was selected a year ago, and before that, I was a vice chairman for Middle East and Africa. So under my responsibility and the chairman's and the team with together, the chapter of Middle East and Africa, we look after the benefit of Middle East and Africa, promote membership, promote best practices, connect them to the global network, and also look at the regional workshops in terms of how can we grow different MICE destinations within this responsibility. Very soon, we actually have the regional summit that's happening in Kigali in Rwanda.
Okay.
First time it's happening in Kigali, Rwanda. Very interesting destinations.
Definitely.
It have witnessed World Travel Summit that happened, or Congress that just happened in Rwanda as well. It's part of our portfolio. And also, I will be one of the panelists who are going to speak about sustainability as well, and how we impact the sustainability in economy and impact it in venues. And that will be a very interesting subject to share it also with our Middle East and African venues, and also pioneers within the MICE industry. There will be people coming from all over the world actually also coming to Rwanda. Rwanda is a very interesting destination that's been growing in the past few years. I would actually recommend a lot of people who's within the industry who want to explore the African market, maybe also to come to Rwanda. And that part of our responsibility is to put the focus in the African nations, Middle East nations, to see how can we bring best practices, but also bring a regional and international event to their countries as well.
Well, that is exceptional.
Yeah.
And when exactly would this event take place in Rwanda?
18th of April.
On the 18th of April.
On the 18th of April.
I look forward to it.
I would definitely not remember all the dates. I'm trying to remember my birthday, and still I make mistakes.
I can only imagine what your calendar looks like.
They are very much aware of what happens. I deal with my calendar. Let's say I look at the whole week at once, but then I deal with it tomorrow. What's happening tomorrow? And what do you want me to read? So if I see me walking in with a file, I just wanted to know exactly what I have to remember for this podcast.
Well, I'm not sure if you have an executive assistant.
I have one or two who's helping me with multiple things. And, shout to both
to the executive assistants.
and Ruchi and Anne and Manal, who's always putting me in track, because it's very difficult to do all of this without the help of multiple different people.
So lastly, how do you feel that this initiative contributes to Oman's ultimately the image for sustainable travel and upcoming events as well?
You mean related to the solar project?
Yes, well, in general, just not the...
I think it's good to see one project, something that makes it to the news. Say telling telling the story is part of promoting a destination. And we took our responsibility to promote everything we do. And not because just we want to say OCEC is doing that, doing this and that. It's just to show that whatever government initiative is taking place, we take them seriously. And also we want to promote them to the world. So we want the world to know that we are actually handling projects like mega project, of solar project, food reserve project, green initiative project. It's important, and it's important to tell others about them. And if they are gonna be factors for people to decide to bring their event to OCEC, why not? Why not using that? And we like to apply for international sustainability events, conferences, summit, meet, ministerial summits. Why not? OCEC is a pioneer in this area. We would like to host you at OCEC. And if the country is ready for it, we are also ready for it.
That's exceptional. And then lastly, to end off this podcast, Are there any upcoming events at OCEC that you are particularly excited about that you are willing to share with our viewers and listeners?
There's a lot of event happens at OCC. This year is exceptionally busy year. We really, in January and February, we did not have a single room available. That to the level, actually, I lost my meeting room. They rented out as well.
You're kidding.
To that level. There was a need for more rooms. And I was like, take
Here's
everything.
my office.
Take everything you need. I am happy to meet at the coffee shop. And that shows you there's a lot of people who's now interested in showcasing their product. Corporates who wanted to talk about their achievements. We had hosted so far 6 different regional and international conferences just in the last 2 months. We are targeting around 15 to 20 of them before the end of the year. Okay. We have hosted last year 1.5 million people who just came into OCC for different type of events. We just finished Book Fair, which was one of the best versions we've ever seen in Book Fair. Multiple different events from book lovers to theaters to different type of interest. We had a food festival next to it. We had visitors from all over the world, at least over. And this numbers is for them, but we have a lot of the visitors during that small number of months. Before the end of the year, we have more of events. We normally host between 230 to 240 events a year. This year, we expect to hit a record number of events. Considering that some of the challenges happens around us, but we're still optimistic about our numbers. We're optimistic about MICE, and we're optimistic about meeting people in physical space and then share with them and exchanging with them knowledge and thoughts.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your personal expertise. And then, of course, with regards to OCEC, it's greatly appreciated. And it is, yet again, such an honor to have you on my show.
Just keep aware of our website. It has all the updated events that's coming in the pipelines. Mark your calendar. Multiple different interesting events happening, not just at the exhibition and conference site, but also in the live event shows. That we have multiple shows that's coming up in the future few months that I'm sure meets the demands and expectation of a lot of different people. We are in an industry that is growing. We are an industry that creates an anchor for multiple different industry around us. Tourism is a multiplier effect. One thing can lead to 10 things and makes more people benefits. And this is a sector that can make job offering more. It can create and support households, and it can actually create an economy. So 100%. Keep up with our websites, keep up with our information. There's a lot to offer.
Yes, and hopefully when I come, I can try the great honey that you have.
Oh, definitely.
I would love to try.
Definitely. One bottle for you, for sure.
I would love that.
Definitely.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Megan. Thanks a lot.